Crypto market continues to look pretty shaky at the moment. Bitcoin dipping after getting rejected like Patrick Ewing or Mutombo around 45,500. No, as Mutombo would say. So what are we looking for now? Well, I have, as I say, don't be the smartest guy in the room. I've got Cryptoburb coming on today to share his charts and thoughts on the market. I'll also be sharing mine, reviewing a whole lot of news and catching up with producer Mike, who made it out of Russia. He's going to tell you that story. It's going to be great. We are all very excited that he is here with us and safe. You do not want to miss this. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I am Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and stand up, turn around, sit on the like button. Turn it around, drop it low, girl, right on that like button. Drop it on down there. How you guys doing today? Did everybody, I know you didn't because I've seen the numbers. Everybody, did you watch the roundtable yesterday? We ran it back like a DJ, you know, when you play a good song, it was like, run it back and do it again. Well, last Thursday, we had that epic roundtable that was spontaneous, and we had another one yesterday. Went over 2 hours. Absolutely epic guests. Sahil Bloom, Max Boonin, Dave Weisberger, Bill Barheit, Steve McClurg, Chen Zur, and of course, Memli Krasniki, who had just stepped out of the Kosovo parliament where they passed a resolution condemning Russian action, saying that they would take Ukrainian refugees, right? And all of this, I was producing it by myself because Mike, who's always here to make sure that I don't screw up everything, was literally on a bus getting his ass out of Russia, which we'll talk about in a little while. So as I mentioned, I got Cryptoburb's going to come on today, maybe in about 5-10 minutes after I review some of the news, and he's going to share his lovely, amazing, beautiful, color coordinated with comments and probably rocket emojis, all his charts. So guys, let's dig right in. And I want to tell you guys, you know what? I'm a pretty positive person, but you know what sucks? Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren sucks. She sucks. She sucks so bad. She sucks so bad. She can't stop. She can't stop. I made this analogy on Twitter. Like Elizabeth Warren's relationship with crypto and Bitcoin right now, it's like she was like a horrible, terrible, controlling, bitchy wife, and her husband finally left. He was like, I'm out of here, man. And he met this like wonderful, nurturing, probably younger, hotter woman. And Elizabeth Warren just, even though it was all her fault, she just can't stop going on social media and saying everything that's wrong with her ex-husband. That's Bitcoin, right? She's like, oh, it's his fault. He's only with her for her money. She should be with me, right? She like has this emotional hatred for Bitcoin and crypto that makes absolutely no sense. As one of my followers said, basically Elizabeth Warren is Kanye West, right? And Bitcoin, I guess, is Kim or Pete Davidson. I don't know, you choose. But my God, what is wrong with her and why does she hate us so much? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because she's deep in bed with the banks. Actually, you know what? Her ex-husband probably left her because she was so deep in bed with the banks. She was sleeping with the banks. What is it like to sleep with a bank, Elizabeth? I don't know. Probably, right? We talk about how like Bitcoin has become this partisan issue and the left hates it. No, she hates it and the right loves it. There's plenty of politicians on both sides of the aisle that both love and hate Bitcoin. And the reality is they love and hate it based on voters and their relationship with banks who either actually love it or hate it, right? Has nothing to do with what party they're a part of. Nothing to do with it. But here you go. Let's dig into Lizzie's words. Criminals can use cryptocurrency to move money in the shadows, opening a door for Putin and his cronies to evade economic sanctions. That's the voice she says it in. I want answers from U.S. Treasury. Calling Janet Yellen, always Yellen, My friend bought me a t-shirt that says Yellen blows. I wish I had it right now. And it's a picture. It's a drawing of Janet Yellen blowing bubbles. It says Yellen blows. It's a great shirt. I want answers from U.S. Treasury, fellow hag, Yellen, on how to ensure crypto doesn't undermine our response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. How about a tweet that says this, Liz? I got two for you. Criminals can use cash to move money in the shadows, opening a door for Putin and his cronies to evade economic sanctions. Because we all know that criminals and people avoiding economic sanctions generally use cash, not a public ledger. Public ledger, Liz. Public. Retire. Public ledger. Bitcoin's really shitty for this activity. But guys, what is a sanction? It's like she does it. It's like she's never read a book. She never took a finance class. She was a professor at Harvard, right? U.S. sanctions. You sanction a country and specific individuals or institutions in that country with the purpose of cutting them off from the United States economy. That is what a sanction. The United States is concerned with cutting these people off from the United States economy. That's our business. That's what a sanction is, right? A person who's cut off is called an SDN. So if that's the purpose of the sanction, it makes it utterly and completely illegal for any American to transact with somebody, a country, or an institution on that list. It doesn't matter if you're doing it in marbles, seashells, boulders, dollars, rubles, or SHIB. It doesn't matter what currency you use. It is illegal, and you would be a heaping massive dumbass if you're in the United States and you're doing business with someone in Russia on a public distributed ledger to avoid sanctions. I don't care if you send them 1986 Topps baseball cards or your favorite Pokemon. That shit is illegal and your ass will land in jail. This is so dumb. It makes no sense. And it's just the next variety of FUD. It's the next brand. Oh, we're done. I guess China's done. India seems to be getting their shit together. We all know that the electricity and the energy debate is starting to die. I guess we got to come back around to criminals and sanctions. We just need a story. How about Elizabeth Warren rewrites a tweet that says, really heartwarming to see how effectively cryptocurrency is being used to help the people of Ukraine when the United States bureaucracy is completely fucking useless and can't get any money to them to help them on the ground. How about that tweet, Liz? How about that tweet? Retire. It's over. You're done. Please. But you know what I said? It's not a bipartisan issue, right? There are people on both sides. I had a Democratic congressman on last week who literally wrote a book about using cryptocurrency and fintech to help people, right? Has nothing to do with it. We got this guy on the other side of the aisle, right? Everybody loves Ted Cruz now. U.S. Senator Ted Cruz. Texas should be ground zero for the Bitcoin and crypto industry worldwide. And he gave a speech. He said, I'm going to stick it to the libs. They hate the coins because they're decentralized and they can't control it. I agree with him there, by the way. But I think that's true of politicians on both sides. But then he says, Texas should be ground zero. It's his state. Price of personal interest. But listen, I like that Ted Cruz bought his one Bitcoin and of his fortune that he's amassed on the backs of the American public, has decided to buy one Bitcoin as a part of it to have point. But I'm not going to like Ted Cruz. Sorry. This guy sucks. Look at him. He also sucks. They suck. They all suck. But I'm glad he likes Bitcoin. And speaking of sanctions and people doing sanctions and sanctioning things and sanctions, Japan to assess how Russia can avoid sanctions using crypto. Japan's financial services regulator and crypto industry body, I wonder if their crypto industry has a nice body, are assessing how Russia might evade economic sanctions using cryptocurrencies, right? But this is more focused. Here you go. The news comes after an unnamed official spoke to the local news outlet in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which has sparked widespread and sweeping sanctions against the Russian state and Russian interests. They want to know if there are ways that the specific people on the list are using crypto. That makes a little more sense. Actually, instead of making sweeping generalizations, you say, how do we identify the specific wallets of these specific people? Right? We are closely watching the situation of settlements such as crypto assets and SPFS. That's a competitor that Russia just made out of thin air to Swift in order to secure effectiveness of sanctions against Russia. So they want to make sure that they're sanctioning the right people and punishing them. And that therein lies the challenge, is finding the wallets of the appropriate people and sanctioning them. You sanction those people. You don't just say, everybody's using it, we got to shut down the crypto. It's like being like, you know what? There's a lot of misinformation. Trying to find a tweet here. A lot of misinformation on the internet. There's a lot of misinformation on the internet. Let's ban the internet. And you know what? You know what's going to get the internet taken down? Let's ban electricity. That shit sucks. It's being used by criminals. Bitcoin is a neutral technology. Blockchain is a neutral technology. It is neither good or bad. Good actors will use it. Bad actors will use it. It's technology. You go after the people who are using it inappropriately, not the technology itself. You don't ban Bitcoin and cryptocurrency because some Russian is using it to avoid sanctions. You go get that motherfucker's boat. You go get his boat. They got boats. Have you seen the boats that these guys have? I mean, this one, where do you hide a 500-foot yacht? How oligarchs are attempting to hide their boats. As I said, you take your 500-foot yacht and you put it inside your 700-foot yacht. This is obvious, people. This is obvious. This is Russians, and this is not a, like, they've been doing this for years, right? We've all played with these, the babushka dolls. You know, you take your big yacht, you put your smaller yacht in it, then your smallest yacht, then your fishing boat, ski boat, jet ski, remote control boats, and all of your boats are hidden. All of your boats are hidden. But the bottom line here, guys, is not my clever tweet. It's a clever tweet. It's a clever tweet. It's not the point. The point is that you don't go after the technology being used. You don't ban books and light them on fire. If you have a problem with what someone is doing, you go after the criminal or person who is doing it and not the technology that they are using. That is Japan's approach. And in my very, very humble opinion, is probably the correct one. So what's going on with Bitcoin in a minute or two? We're going to bring on my friend Cryptoburb, and he's going to tell us, because you guys are probably sick of looking at my charts. You guys look at them basically every day, and they don't change that much, guys. Don't change that much. But interestingly, here on CoinDesk, you know, we've got our classic first mover America's number of Bitcoin held by funds hits record high. That's cool. That's cool. We got this right down here. Like, they've got all their technical analysis, reasons to be bullish, reasons to be bearish, options, all the shit that doesn't matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter if you're a trader, but we all know that you just buy Bitcoin, right? But here you go. Funds appear to be accumulating Bitcoin as the Russia-Ukraine crisis drives inflation expectations higher. So now we're back in that back and forth thing where it's like, we can't decide if inflation's bad or if inflation's good, if we want the Fed to print money, if we want the Fed to stop printing money, and what that would mean for Bitcoin. Institutions are coming. Bitcoin held by funds and ETFs just made an all-time high. Charlie Moore, CIO at ByteTree Asset Management. So the one thing we do know, whether you're buying Bitcoin or not, the big boys are absolutely doing it. And we talk about this all the time. You want to be on the side of the whales, not fighting against them, right? But enough of me. I'm going to bring on the man with the greatest beard in crypto and maybe the entire actual world. Cryptoburb, what's up, buddy? How are you, man?
What's up, man? What a kite intro. What's good?
Yeah, well, I could do better. I could do better. Guys don't know that Burb and I, you know, we're actually in real life friends. We've hung out. He's one of my absolute favorite people, and also obviously his analysis and his charts are something that I look to quite often. So, what are you thinking about the market right now? Just the general broad strokes.
Yeah. Well, so basically, I see a lot of correlation, you know, behind the scenes going on with Bitcoin to S&P 500 to the equities. So whatever equities do, you know, is mainly impacting whatever Bitcoin, you know, is supposed to follow. And naturally, there is a lot of fundamental changes. You know, macroeconomics are somewhere on the edge of potential changes, like some rate hikes that were supposed to launch, you know, in March. There are some thoughts and rumors and gossips that they might be actually delayed or canceled even. So there is a lot of tensions going on right next to my borders as well, because I'm directly you know, neighboring Ukraine, so that's pretty hard to see what they're doing to my blood brothers out there. And I wish everybody just, you know, turns more peaceful. and this is definitely also going to impact markets more positively.
It's interesting. So, the correlation thing, to me, it's sort of an interesting debate, right? Everyone knows that I'm generally of the Bitcoin is an uncorrelated asset, but that doesn't mean I don't think that they don't react to the same things at the same time sometime. I'm just, when I kind of look at things macro, you look at 10 years of Bitcoin, the correlation has been 0.16, basically uncorrelated. But there's no denying that when things get bad in the world, Bitcoin's a risk-off asset and sells off largely before those other things. It's a 24/7 market. You can sell it right away. You don't need to wait until Monday. But the other day, the war started and Bitcoin, the stock market stayed flat and Bitcoin went up like 18%. Right. So that was really interesting to see. Do you have a feeling on why that would have happened? Because yes, you have the correlation, but then the correlation, people just like, it's almost like you don't admit that it wasn't there for that time,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty interesting take, to be honest. Like specifically, for the day that some people would call it decoupling. I'm not a big fan of calling it decoupling because this would perhaps somehow, just mean that there is like complete detachment, of one asset against the another, which is not really the truth. But what we see instead is fluctuation, correlation ratio. There's like, you can run linear regressions, between one asset or another, and there's a correlation coefficient that tells you basically how well aligned different assets are. And this is subject to volatility. This is subject to dynamics. It changes both on the technical side, which comes directly from inside of the market, but it also changes dependently on the outside of the market, right? So fundamental factors when they change, and there's a lot of fundamental changes going on for Bitcoin, for crypto industry, I believe, going on behind the scenes right now for Ukraine. So there's a lot of fluctuations. I think more intense fluctuations than before. And the fluctuations are both sides, right? So it means one day, the correlation favors Bitcoin, let's say, right? And then you see stocks collapsing, taking, a head and down, and then Bitcoin just taking rally 18%, just like you mentioned. And the other day you see the reverse situation, or, them attaching all over again and correlation increasing, right? So there are a couple of charts that I have.
Could you, I'll share your screen in a second if you pull up a chart and you can give us a look that way.
Okay, yeah, so there's basically, to start with, I'm not sure if it's displaying already.
Yeah, I can see your Twitter at the moment.
Yeah, cool. So starting off, this is my good friend Kyung Ju. If I pronounce it correctly,
met him, and I know him in real life too.
yeah, he's a great guy. And this is a chart from a couple of days ago. So there's some update to make to it. But the most important clue of it all was that Bitcoin to S&P 500 and S&P 500 to Bitcoin correlation had all-time high very recently, right? Which means that at the ratio 0.54, 55 approximately, it is of strongest correlation to S&P 500 ever, right? And this is a positive correlation, which basically tells you that there is the same directional alignment, right? There is no negative correlation that you often see for equities and gold, for instance, right?
Which would be inverse.
Yeah, which is inverse, or more specifically negative. It's down from 0 to -1, somewhere over there. Here we are talking about the positive side, so they tend to follow the same directions in tandem, right? So here at 0.55 approximately, this tells you and told you a couple of days ago that whatever equities did, this had the overall control and the vote for what was happening, to the consensus of Bitcoin, let's say. And and this is I think one of the fundamental background changes that need to be accounted here. This has not always been the case, right? Just for instance,
right, and 0.58 is still not fully correlated, of course, right? It's the highest it's been relative, and you can see that chart how choppy it is. It's all over the map, right? Yeah, but yes, It's very relevant where it is now.
Exactly, correct. This is the fundamental kind of like a background, right? And what I think is also important to mention regarding the correlations before we move on to the charts is that the correlations tend to flip or invert, like change the polarity from negative to positive. especially when there are lots of strong fundamental changes, price shocks, market shocks, one of which is an example of war, right? So wars tend to make that certain assets that seemingly are not correlated, they tend to get correlated. Remind, 2020 March crash. For instance, there was an equity dip, heavy crash on the equities of Bitcoin as well, and on gold. And in theory, there is a negative correlation between equities and gold. So in theory, gold should have, just soared back then, but it did not, right? Yeah. Same for silver. So there's this fundamental reasoning that, the charts, what we see in the charts in terms of technical analysis, this is happening inside of the market, right? What is laying the overall background and macroeconomy kind of like a situation, then this is what really matters, right? This is what takes the priority. So just for instance, knowing Bitcoin is still strongly correlated to equities, like here's the composite index, which is a bit of more, risk on, more risk aggressive. And S&P 500 for the large caps, you see there has just been, a gap down opening, so this actually, had Bitcoin, just pumped down too, right? You see Bitcoin dropping about 5-10% also over the course of the past hours, days. So right now, after the situation where stocks kind of like went flat for a moment, right? That stocks went flat here. Bitcoin actually in this time rallied to the highs of 2022, basically near the area at $45,000, right? But then stocks actually just didn't follow through to the upside. Bitcoin did. And now they are attached, all over again. So the correlation increased all over again, potentially with the overall, fears coming from this, stupid hell idea, of bombing the nuclear, shelling the nuclear plants, right? So this is stupid. And then you have a natural result and resolution coming up to the commodity markets, which I've been huge fan and bull on, ever since the breakthrough a year ago on January 2020.
We've talked about it before, long before.
2021. Yeah, we talked about it like some time ago, but this actual breakthrough moment, through this 50-month average, this is on the left side of the chart. It happened in February 2021, a year ago, right? And ever since, we almost, I want to say doubled, but we didn't double, we just went high enough already anyway. So we are back to the levels unseen basically since 2013, right? So this is no joke, this is an exceptional situation. And commodities usually tend to rally, especially in the face of fears of supply shocks, right? And this is what you're seeing right now. Of course, on the silver side, as part of the Ukraine's war, going on, in invasion in Ukraine going on, this had to do with limiting the overall and Russia supply from the silver side. You see wheat going up crazily, right? This insane pump going on. On the wheat, there's been some consolidation, like some bull flag, no matter how we call that, and heavy pump just over the course of the past couple of weeks.
Ukraine's one of the biggest suppliers of wheat to the world, right? So
yeah. Exactly, right. So this is the supply and our shrink going on, which limiting the supply and of course brings the bigger demand per unit. So this is where the price hikes so much. And this all, has a lot to tell with Bitcoin going on, right? So if we have a look at the most principal, kind of like way of looking at it, the naked chart, that is, price action basically tells you that, there's like this fan trend line setup where you have one or two trend lines, in the importance being accounted, right? We had this $133,000 loan mark, the follow through to the upside, the first glimpse of hope, for the bulls ever since the $69,000 correction peak. Then the resisting, at the prior support of $45,000, $46,000, and then it actually failed. To hold the support as you got basically this, Russia invading Ukraine news coming up, and then there was this moment when the stocks kind of like got this little bit of sideways, and they remained sideways, but Bitcoin actually rallied to the upside, right? 18% soar. And ever since, we got the back correlation intensification between Bitcoin and S&P 500. So stocks down, Bitcoin down. right now, you could argue it's at the most relevant, most important, crucial technical side. But reminded to everybody that the technicals are of secondary importance when there is a war going on, right? When there's a war going on, there are fundamental changes and macroeconomic changes. There's an overall exchange deals, trade deals being held inside and outside of Russia. So it does definitely impact the overall global economy. And this is where the major plays are happening. So I would argue, technicality of the market is of secondary importance right now. So despite it's retesting this support level as well, you could argue, first of all,
Burb is so funny. Like, I just want to pull up, like, this is my daily chart, and watching you draw it naked, like you literally drew the exact same thing. Like, same levels, same level here, same 2 descending lines that I've had. The only thing that was missing, which I know you use, is the 50 MA right there, right? Which is almost about to get tested on the daily. But while it was like watching myself draw the chart, it was really kind of funny there.
So now I know why you got me on the show, at least.
Yeah, I need confirmation of my own bias. Come on, man.
Exactly, right.
So I just need people to agree with me. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. But yeah, so I agree. I agree exactly with what you said. Is that's like, and so Bitcoin trades much more technically than most things, right? I mean, listen, everything trades technically, but I think it's funny when people are like looking at a specific stock and they're like, well, it's right here. And you're like, Facebook, you're like, yeah, but they just got destroyed on earnings. Like, our lines don't really, there's a time when fundamentals and what's actually happening to the company or the world matters so much more than any chart. So maybe draw some lines lower to make you feel better. But yeah, I mean, if effectively a dictator says, hey, nukes are on the table, that your line's not going to hold very well.
Exactly, right? So that is my point.
I do like this area, though, right above 40 at the 50 MA where you're drawing right now. And I actually added some longs slightly higher. I want to see us above 42, but yeah.
Yeah, of course. And like, I think personally, well, this is the main support to hold technically again, but there's like so much going on the fundamental side that it can change at any time. Just be mindful of that. But technically, this is the main support area, right? Fail this, like perhaps some upside upside pullback, but whatever happens in here, fail this level, and Bitcoin just keeps ranging. It just keeps, it just continues its boring story inside its local range, 33 to 45, and nothing happens. It's just
that line is literally the 50 MA as well. It's literally the exact spot.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So lots of technical reasoning, to believe, again, leaving the fundamentals aside, that the Bitcoin could have some sort of like, bit of fresh air, some relief perhaps coming up. You don't really see that coming just as of now, but, whenever there's a relief in the tensions, that, it positively more often than not impacts the market. So, but it's still secondary importance, right? I'm taking it very, very slowly. In case it fails here, I'm probably going to get stopped. Well, at least on my short-term positions, long-term holds, just like I saw you tweet earlier today.
Yeah,
long-term holds remain unchanged, untouched right for now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm long from 35, and I added slightly above here, 41.6, 41.8 or something, and I have bids at the 50 MA too. But my cost base is like 36, right? So I'm not really worried about if we lose like 39.6, I'll probably start reevaluating. So by the way, I've seen 2 people ask what the cool tool is you're using to draw on your charts.
Okay, this is called Screen Brush. You can get it on macOS. Screen Brush, yes, it is.
Okay, it is really cool, and it's way better than my lines. I need that too. I'm going to upgrade my situation courtesy of you. So listen, I'm sure everyone also has an opinion on this. I think we agree on Bitcoin. What do you think about altcoins in general right now? No specific chart, but like, is there a situation where you start thinking altcoins look really attractive? They obviously don't right now. Maybe if you're an investor and you're a dip buyer and you have a long-term focus, but a little hard to trade right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're super hard. I mean, the problem is it's like similar correlation. I don't have the measures, but there's, just like Bitcoin is correlated to S&P 500 or to equities overall, the altcoins are correlated to Bitcoin in terms of the dominance, and there are some trends in that too. So overall, the way I see it, Bitcoin is right now the main force, the main point of focus. I don't really see much of capital flowing and, let's say, hedging, just exposing themselves for the investors. into the altcoins as of now, mainly because out of crypto being super risky asset already, for its class, the altcoins are even riskier, right? So
Right.
you don't really see a lot of safety, I should say, features that would be beneficial for altcoins right now. I personally have not opened any new altcoin positions over the course of the past 4 months, ever since since we got the flash in early December from the Feds about rate hikes. And so I'm just waiting. It's boring as hell, but apparently you need to you need to tighten your belt and just wait a little bit longer until the setup comes, right? But I'm still in my long-term holds. I have not really sold off any of my Bitcoins, Ethereums, Litecoins. I still have my long-term map, with Bitcoin reaching 100K, Ethereum 10K, Litecoin even $1,000, no matter whoever feels like about it. But unless we all die from nukes, then I see Bitcoin eventually catching up somewhere higher.
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
I'm skipping that on my bingo card for 2022. Dying of nukes. Yeah. But if I get a flash that we're going to do that, I'm definitely going to at least go buy like a nice car or something. Get it over with. So, man, listen, I have to move on. Thank you so much. You are, of course, like an open invitation and welcome anytime, of course. If you ever have anything to get off your chest, a chart that you want to share, we're doing this every day now at 10 a.m. So we'll be seeing everyone. You'll be seeing a lot more of my friend Burb here, man. Thank you so much. I always have to say I appreciate your just endless positivity and seeming happiness. I know it's hard out there in the streets sometimes, and you seem to take it all on the chin very easily. So we appreciate that and your great voice in the community.
Appreciate it, Scott. I love you, brother. I love your show. I love you, all your community. And just before I go, very quick,
where can everybody follow you and stuff too? Sorry, yeah.
I mean, following me is one thing, but more than over me, I suggest everybody perhaps follow this new NFT project that we kind of like.
Do you have a link?
It's not. It's a non-profit project that we founded in order to fund
the art project.
To build the funds for the Ukrainian people who suffer from the war. It's called Art Against War NFT. So I'm going to link it to you.
You can put it in the chat and send it to me.
Yeah. And highly Art Against War, AAW_NFT, AAW_NFT. We are calling out to all the artists out there. If you guys want to promote your art and give it as an NFT to be listed, to be auctioned, then each and every single cent publicly and transparently via blockchain is going to be donated and given to the Ukrainian people who suffer from the war. So this is the only shout out that I wanted to give right now. For my side, this is the account to follow. Everybody kindly recommended. We are pressing let's help the good cause. Thanks so much.
Guys, absolutely. Dude, thank you so much, guys. There it is right there. Art Against War, AAW_NFT. You can check that out there. And thank you once again, Burb, man. Always an absolute pleasure.
Love you. Bye-bye.
What is up, everybody? I'm back. So listen, we're going to do a couple more reviews of the news here. I think absolutely support Art Against War. And I know a lot of you guys are big Burb fans. I see a bunch of you guys trolling him about the Litecoin call. Like, I know you're joking, but it's really pretty unfair to go after people just because they were wrong about a future prediction about markets. Like, you have to understand, when any of us who are on here, and I don't give a shit like what people think, but any of us who are on here and putting ourselves out there and sharing charts and ideas, we're gonna be wrong. Like, maybe most of the time, but certainly really close to 50% at best. And, we first of all, we have our own money on the line when we're making these trades. So if we're wrong, we lose money. And then you compound that with actually having people give you shit about the fact that you were wrong on social media. And it makes it a lot more difficult. So I guess what I'm trying to say is take it easy on your local influencer. Be nice. Be nice. We all make wrong calls. We all make wrong calls. So anyways, let's continue on really quick here. What do we got? Coinbase CEO will comply with Russia ban if U.S. government tells us to. Of course, listen, all of the exchanges very quickly said we are not going to ban Russia and cut off Russia. Why? Because that's stupid. Stupid. Why would you punish your average Russian who has nothing to do with the war and take away their access to cryptocurrency, especially when their rubles are completely dying? Just to punish the government for their bad decisions. Also, as a number of my guests pointed out smartly yesterday, if you really want to punish Russia and you're the American government, you don't cut them off. You actually allow people to dump rubles and buy cryptocurrency, because that would hurt the currency worse. It's a big brain move to keep it open as a government anyways and not to close it off. But of course, Coinbase CEO is coming out and saying, but if the US government says we have to, we're going to, right? They need to run a business, unfortunately, and that's something that would happen, but I don't foresee that happening. Here's a cool story. Ukraine DAO's flag NFT sells for $6.75 million. That's a lot of dollars for an NFT of a flag, right? Decentralized autonomous organization Ukraine DAO, they raised 2,258 ETH in an auction that began on February 26th and ended on March 2nd, right? So as news of the fighting in Ukraine began dominating the airwaves and social media, a group of crypto activists and enthusiasts quickly gathered to support Ukraine by auctioning this NFT of the flag. That's not it. That's just a Shutterstock picture of a Ukrainian flag. But once again, isn't this the narrative? Crypto doing good, raising money, it's going directly to the people. Isn't this what we should be talking about, instead of like the fact that some dude with a big yacht might be able to buy some Bitcoin and circumvent sanctions? These guys have billions of dollars. They have better things to do than worry about us. And here you go. NFT market cools as trading on Ethereum and Solana dips. Overall trading volume fell after January's record-breaking month, but some networks are seeing gains amidst the wider slump. Yeah, guys, listen. When people are in a financial panic and there's a war and they're afraid of the Fed, their first thought generally isn't, I need more pudgy penguins. I need more pudgy penguins to hedge against nukes, right? If we're talking about even what Burb talked about, if we're talking about risk-off assets, right? Like Bitcoin is actually the least risk-off, or the asset you'd be least likely to sell off in a panic in the whole crypto sphere, right? It goes down the risk curve, and NFTs are pretty far down. So no big surprises that people might be selling off their NFTs. The floor prices might be dropping, and that trading volumes in general and interest in FOMOing into cartoons when you're worried about your financial future might not be the first thing on your agenda. So guys, listen, as I promised, before we get finished here, of course, I'm going to bring on Mike. Mike, where are you, man? Where are you now?
Hey, Scott. Yeah, I'm in Estonia. I'm completely safe now with my father's friends, Estonians, obviously. So yeah, I left Russia yesterday. Was actually ran away. Like maybe the day before, I was like, should I leave or should I stay? Like, should I, try to like fight, go to protests, try to do something. And then next day, my friends starting writing me that, leaving Russia. Like guys calling me like, I'm going to the to Moscow, and then to fly from Russia to Armenia, and then to Georgia, and then to other places. So I I started panicking. It was kind of...
Okay, but when we talked about it, the sentiment was, the news really was in St. Petersburg where you were, you're either going to end up in jail or you're going to end up in the army, right? They're going to start conscripting. That's the rumor going around.
So that was basically also the big thing that, I don't know who put it, like this news that, there is like a meeting where they can introduce the military situation in Russia, the war situation. And that would mean that they would ban men from leaving the country, men from like age 18
It's happening
to 55.
in Ukraine.
That happened in Ukraine. But I'm not talking about Ukraine right now, because in Ukraine there is a war and the situation is like much, much worse than in Russia, of course. But in Russia, like Russia was kind of like a police state, but it's becoming like even more police state. So they're introducing laws against people who go to protest. They say that if you put something on social networks and it's considered fake about war in Ukraine, then you can go to prison for like 15 years.
And they were. I mean, you got lucky, I think, but they were checking people's Instagram and social media accounts at the
So
border.
yeah, on the border. I mean, no one asked me because I'm a citizen of Estonia. I'm a EU citizen, so there were no questions to me. But yeah, there is a lot of information about customs and police, wanting to do this kind of conversations with people leaving country, where they ask if do you support Putin? Show me your Telegram. Show me your Instagram posts. Show me your Facebook. Oh, you're not. People started deleting Telegram from their phones because they were afraid that they will find something, and then they ask, so you don't use Telegram, and you're talking to like people who basically can do anything with you. If they want to put you in a prison, they will put you in a prison. It's not a big deal in Russia. So yeah, there was a panic. There is a panic, and I'm now in one of the chats on Telegram with another 8,000 people who left to Armenia. Yeah, that's basically what's going on right now. People who can leave, who have money, and who have passports to leave, because in Russia you need to have like two passports: one internal, one foreign passport, external one. So, and some people in Russia do not have external passports, so they can only go to Armenia. So what's happening right now is that elites, or let's not even call it elite, it's just like people with education, with good jobs, who work for Western companies or freelancers, they are leaving Russia. So
Do you think the sentiment is that they'll go back, or do you think this is? I mean, are people really leaving? Like, this is it?
I think that people think.
You don't know, obviously. Yeah.
I can tell you what's going on right now. So people started to renting out the apartments in Moscow and in St. Petersburg and in other cities probably as well, just for 1 month. But I feel that with the events happening in Russia, they're not gonna go back, because it's like there is no turning point. That's it.
Unless there's regime change or something. Right.
Yeah, it will not change. It will not change. And I think they understand it. And yesterday they forced schools to show, to screencast, not screencast, to show screen the broadcast propaganda movie about what Russia is doing in Ukraine. And they were screening to like children, like maybe from 10 years old to 16, 17, like mandatory. And the government, the educational system, they asked teachers and principals to show the pictures, to show the evidence that they did it. So that's it. I mean, I think we're going back, like, it's not even USSR, it's like worse.
Someone just said going back to 1900, right?
Yeah, probably. It's very.
They didn't have the TVs in the
story.
classrooms then, but it's really it's pretty horrifying, man. I'm glad Mike. Mike and I were obviously telegramming. Tell how we communicate, but that we were talking. He was like, "I'm thinking about leaving," and I was like, go.
Yeah,
get the hell out, and I understand the urge, but if you know that if you even step into the streets to even protest and you're going to be immediately in jail, what's like, you're going to sacrifice yourself and sit in jail the rest of your life? Just doesn't seem to make much sense to me. This change is going to have to happen.
The sad story is that of course there are a lot of people who do not support this war in Russia.
Most people, I'm sure.
No,
quietly.
No, that's the unfortunate side.
Sad.
Yeah, because the propaganda, the TV, they did their work really good. Like, there are people who really believe in what Putin says and what state TV says, and they say, because there are Nazis in Ukraine. That's what they say, and they, like, the taxi drivers tell some crazy stories. I don't know where they got it, probably from the same TV. So yeah, the bottom line is that unfortunately there are people who support it, but those people, they watch a lot of TV. They were they probably don't have any brains to critically assess the situation, and maybe they don't even have other sources of information, because the independent media yesterday and today, they're being closed. They're liquidated.
Terrible.
And journalists are leaving the country.
I can tell you, it's not. I mean, it's crazy. I can tell you that like the brainwashed taxi driver, average person thing is not unique to Russia, sadly, right? I was sitting at breakfast with my family this weekend, and the table next to me, the guy like stopped the waiter and started giving him this lecture on how like Putin, this is an American guy, he was wearing some sort of Confederate flag, something or other, and he started lecturing the waiter on how Putin was doing this for Donald Trump to get back Hunter Biden, and that it was really Joe Biden and Hunter Biden battling Trump, and that this is a war about Trump. And I was, people everywhere get their information from strange places and have very random ideas. It was wild. I couldn't believe it. The poor waiter was standing there just like, I'm just trying to serve you your eggs, man. But and so it's sad to hear, man. I'm really glad you made it out. Is there anything else? Well, should we share Pepe Angelo?
Oh yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah,
I know we weren't planning on it, but I want to talk about it here. Let me here. You can talk about. I shared this earlier. I said a very close friend of a very close friend is selling her artwork to get out of Russia and set up shop somewhere else. The artwork happens to be amazing. She's already like a very accomplished NFT artist, but that's Mike, so he can tell you about it.
Yeah, actually, Pepe Angelo is my ex-wife, and she's an artist, and she became pretty famous immediately. The story is that she started painting Pepe the Frog in the like paintings of the in the masterpieces, in the world famous paintings. She just
like
changed
Mona Lisa. It's amazing.
Yeah, she changed the characters to Pepe the Frog, and actually it was like how many years? Maybe 5 years ago, and it was during the Trump administration. And we just put it out on Etsy, like the website where you just where you can sell your artwork. And someone found it and posted it on Reddit, and it was sold out immediately. And she became like really, really, really popular after that. And and she made it like a big project. Since then she's only painting Pepe the Frog. She's making like a lot of paintings. Like some of them are really, really big, like 2 meters. Can be bigger. And some time ago, she started also doing the NFTs. So basically, she sells the physical painting plus NFT.
I think I have it open. I tweeted her open the OpenSea. It's right here.
Yeah, go check it out.
Right.
Yeah. So if you want to buy,
the floor price is 4 ETH. She's killing it.
Yeah. It's actually and also like it's 4 ETH here, and a lot of but this is without the real painting.
Yeah, of course. So these are NFTs. These are awesome. Though.
Yeah. So the situation is that she's now
super talented.
Yeah, and she's still in St. Petersburg, and she needs to sell the leftovers of the paintings to actually leave the country. So I asked Scott to help her sell it. So guys, go check it out. She needs to leave the country, and in order to continue working, she needs to relocate somewhere else. So
how can people buy the physical paintings from her if they don't want to buy the NFTs? Just directly?
Oh, she has a website, pepelangelo.com. Yeah, you can just buy a physical painting.
So good, my God, this is so amazing. This is so good, so good. Absolutely love it. Awesome. Sorry, now I forgot we were on a live stream and you were talking. Now I was just looking through all the artwork. I've looked through them before, but oh God, my daughter would absolutely love that Pikachu Van Gogh. So good. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome,
so anyway, guys, if you're interested in doing like NFT and physical painting, go check OpenSea. If you just like it and want to buy it for your like living room or bedroom, you can just go to pepelangelo.com and order it from there. You can also talk to, her name is Olga, to Pepe Angelo, And yeah, it's there, Pepelangelo, at Pepelangelo.
Someone was like, wow, he's helping his ex. What a nice guy. He really is nice.
Yeah, we are friends.
That's awesome. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
These are beautiful. I actually have to go. Guys, so Mike, man, now Mike is safe. I don't know where he'll end up landing, but things will be back to normal here. And I think I can tell you, like, every time I tweeted about it, or even just in the comments on YouTube, someone today, one of these comments was like, I don't even know Mike, but I was thinking about him all day yesterday, right? So we were talking about you on the stream and stuff. But it's a really testament to you and to this community that people like legitimately.
You,
I think when you zoom in, it's very easy to get caught in all the conflict. But when you hear about someone's individual story and what's going on, I think people genuinely do care. And I'm really happy that our community was asking questions and cared about where you were when they only found out you really existed this week. So
thanks, Scott.
Of course. All right, everybody. I'm going to be back on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do that time every single day. Weekday, not Saturday and Sunday. So without further ado, I bid you have a good weekend. Let's hope that Bitcoin does not dump to shit, and then people are going to be like, you stupid influencer, you were bullish, I hate you, you're the worst. Yeah, we don't want that. So for my sake, go buy some Bitcoin. Peace, guys.
Let's go.